Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This week on the Kindness Project, we talk about Dopper Cups, books, and charitable acts with Patrick Luong.
Welcome, my friends, to the Kindness Project. I'm joined by a girl who I'm pretty sure was the inspiration behind Finding Dory. It's it's Charlotte Daves. What? See, do you like that one? That clap is coming out really loud. Do you like that one?
I know, I'm messing with your mic. Mine pales in comparison.
That's one of my favourites. I like that one. Go on.
He's the man with the money-making plan. It's Chris Davis.
Oh, God.
Told you, I came up with on the flyers, so it's terrible.
No, it wasn't too bad. Some of your introductions on the fly were not bad. And we're rejoined, by the way, by one of the kindest people I know.
Can't reuse an introduction.
I think
the kindest person in this.
yeah.
You just can't reuse it.
He's definitely the kindest person in this room right now. It's Patrick. Hello, Patrick. How are we doing, mate?
Again, well.
Right. Can I work out what's this contraption you've brought out? Because it looks like some sort of suction pump.
I love this. This brings me joy.
Okay, so tell me why it brings you joy.
Well, this is a Dopper reusable, it's not single-use plastic, reusable water bottle.
Okay.
Comes in a variety of colours. With smart designs.
Clearly yellow, banana yellow's the one you've gone for. So why is that different to a normal water bottle?
Because it also has cup mode, so I can share a cup of water.
It's a cup! It's a cup! That is amazing!
Did you not notice that?
No, I thought it was some sort of suction device. Is it a suction? No, it's not a suction.
No.
It's not. That is very, very clever. So that's called a...
It's called a Dopper.
A,
I first read it as swoop, so...
I thought it was a Ropudu. But yeah, that is... I've never seen that before.
You can get, they've come across, I think you can get them in boutique stores. I think John Lewis have just started to do them as well.
Okay. I'm going to wander into John Lewis and go, can I have a Dopper?
Say that when the Christmas egg comes out, then all the people will be crying.
And they've even donate a bit of their profits to water charity in Nepal, I think, as well.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And quite a funky
Colour.
fashion statement, isn't it? Yeah, I like it. What other colours do they come in?
Oh, so many. And
So few.
Pink, orange, 2 different shades of yellow.
Good. Yeah.
Wait, important question. Do they have a teal?
Yeah, they definitely do.
Good product.
Yeah. I think I mean, like, that water bottle was amazing. I think you've, like, sort of smashed another podcast in Norm by eating biscuits during the podcast. Have you ever done that before?
I'm hungry. And yeah, I do eat sometimes, but you stole my beans the last time, so...
Sorry, Dory, what did you say? Well, I stole your beans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were eating beans on a podcast, weren't you?
You stole my green beans.
Yeah, you had a bowl full of beans that you decided to eat halfway through a podcast.
We were doing the instructions, not halfway through.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
You
But
stole
yeah,
them and fed them to the dog.
so I've learned something new today. I want a Dopper.
Do, and it's
Water
easy to
bottle.
clean dishwasher friendly when you use them.
We have a broken dishwasher.
I'm worried now. I think he's on a bit of a commission from Dopper. Charlie.
Sales pitch.
He likes his Dopper. He's sounding like an infomercial. You know what?
One of those that you turn it on at like 5 in the morning, they're just going, wow, look at this!
Do you know what? Mum does that.
I love my dog.
So I'll go to bed, right, and Cassie will have like ITV2 on, and I'll fall asleep, and then I'll wake up with somebody selling a mop, and literally,
It's
you
just
know.
the Nutri blender. I have a
Oh, the Nutri blender. But you know that.
We should have a Nutri.
You know that period of time when you're awake but not awake enough yet to sort of just like to jump out of bed, and it's normally about, for me, it's about 10 minutes. For you, it's about an hour and a half.
Bit of science here. It's actually why they play the commercials at that time. Because your brain is the most susceptible to stuff like that at early points, or when your brain is the most docile.
Is that right? Like it's like a subliminal thing. Yeah. But then by the time I've heard it, I really want to mop. By the time I really want a dopper. I hope somebody listens to this podcast at 5 a.m. and goes, oh, I'm going to go and get a dopper. I'm going to a mopper.
And a Nutri blender.
I'm going to get a Nutri blender, a mopper, a dopper.
Other blending services are available.
I'm relaxed about the plopper, whatever that is.
The swoop.
The what? What, is that got meaning or?
No, it's just swoop.
It's a good word. Swoop.
I have a file on my in my media folder for school, and it's just called Swoop-de-doop.
And what's in that Swoop-de-doop folder?
It's a video file of someone running down a corridor.
Who's running down a corridor?
I think it was Kaylee, and she just kind of waved her hair, and I was like, Swoop-de-doop.
I got an email the other day, and it was a video of Nanny Ann, right? So my mum died this year. She died back in April, and somebody had found a video of a fake advert she did for a friend of hers for a packet of Quavers. So Quavers had this competition, right, where you could send in your own version of what you think the ad should be, and if they liked it, they'd use it or they'd film it professionally. And my mum had false teeth, and the ad was right. The ad was she was halfway through a packet of crisps. she'd put the crisps down, and then she'd fallen asleep, and then the teeth had jumped out to eat the remainder of the crisp packet. And it's a weird thing after your mum's gone to get a video of going, here's your mum in a fake crisp advert, but it made me laugh. It was such a great little idea. Didn't win clearly because she shame. Yeah, but yeah, it was it was quite good fun. So. Would you like to tell our listeners where they can get in touch with us?
Oh, yeah, almost missed it. Usually I'm the one regulating this day. No, before I get tempted.
What do you mean before you get tempted? There's half of it gone. I think before you get tempted it was about 10 minutes ago.
I hadn't even started 10 minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, someone else do it.
Okay, so the Twitter is @Holla Kindness, HOLA Kindness. You can email us at Dopper, at I Want a Dopper. Oh, you know we were talking about merch next week. Can we get a Dopper? I'm getting the name right. With the Kindness Project logo emblazoned on it. That'd be amazing.
Right around the white plastic bit.
That'd be good. No.
I'm still waiting out for the mugs that had "Tis the End" written at the bottom, so when you finish, the T is right at the bottom.
See, I love that idea.
My signature catchphrase.
Your signature catchphrase.
It's like the only...
Disco time was your signature.
we come out with new ones every week. That's the problem.
But "Tis the End" is the one I use at the end of every podcast.
Yeah,
you
actually
do. Listen to them.
You do.
I do not.
Holla at thekindnessproject.co.uk. www.thekindnessproject.co.uk. We're on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, all that sort of stuff.
If you ask Jeeves for us, he'll probably...
If you ask Jeeves, ask Alexa. If you ask Alexa for the Kindness Project, do we come up?
I don't like listening to it.
We need to ask Alexa.
She's kind of shut down at the moment. She's not been talking to us.
What?
Yeah, she's on, and then she just kind of goes, I can't understand what you're saying at the moment. Try again later.
I told Dexter to get off the sofa the other day, and Alexa started playing Imagine Dragons for some reason. So I don't know. Maybe it's lost in translation with Alexa.
What Imagine Dragons song?
Top of the World.
Oh, great song.
Which is one of my favourites, actually. I like that one.
Is that on your holiday playlist?
It is on my holiday playlist. There is.
I like demons.
Well, any demons in particular? So, question of the podcast has changed now. What's your favourite demon?
Well, I'd say Crowley.
From?
It's a weird toss-up between Good Omens and Supernatural.
Oh, Good Omens is amazing. Good Omens is.
You know,
Have you
there's
seen Good Omens? So it's based on a Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman book. It's on Amazon Prime at the minute, and it's got David Tennant and
I don't know his name.
Michael Sheen playing a
Crowley and the Zara
a devil and an angel who need to work together to save the world. It's amazing, really good.
See, I've had like two different views of Crowley because in Good Omens he's like a lowly demon, and in Supernatural he's like king of hell, and his mum is like a witch, and he's Irish, and he's like he's Scottish.
He's in Supernatural as well. Not played by David Tennant, though.
No.
Oh well, I don't want to know then. Who plays him?
I don't know.
All right. Clearly not going to be.
No, but he's hilarious, and he just hates every character, and every character hates him.
Fair
enough. A
enough.
nice alliance.
Fair
with
enough.
The Winchesters, so.
Okay. Thanks, Dory. So the question of cars today.
You raised me this way.
Is this my fault? I tell you what, this is a problem, right? Anything I say about you, you can just point to me like that and go, you raised me this way. I know, you raised me this way. So the question of the podcast, and I'm going to have a bite of this peanut thing as soon as I ask this, so please somebody have an answer to this. What do you collect?
Trading cards.
Trading cards, Patrick?
Personal greeting cards with a personal message in it. I've still got some dating back to primary school.
I have a friend, and she draws me birthday cards every year, so I just keep them.
Do you keep them?
I keep them.
They're quite sentimental.
Also, she gave me a framed photo of two characters from Phoenix Wright because I had a little obsession with them last birthday, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm just going to give you this framed photo of the two of them standing together." It just sits there in a row.
Yeah. So what was trading cards? What trading
Yes.
cards?
Oh God, Pokemon, Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh, Buddy Fight.
Buddy Fight? What's Buddy Fight? I've never heard of that one.
It's basically there's a bunch of different clans. I have Dragon Clan because it's so cool. I really wanted to get some Dark World clans, but they're so much more expensive. Anywho, and basically there's different clans, and you fight for your clan, and you use members of your clan to fight. And
So these are like they're all battle card games, aren't they?
The whole challenge of it is you have action cards that are like big finish moves, but you're only allowed to have a collective of a level 3. So you can have one level 1 and a level 2, or 3 level 1s,
right.
or
Is that
one
to
level
like
3.
even the playing field a bit?
I don't know.
Right. But you don't ever get into one particular card game, do you? So you've got like cards from all over. What else have you got in your collection? What else do you collect?
Ooh, rocks.
Rocks.
Jewellery that I'm never going to wear.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion?
Notebooks. I have so many notebooks.
Oh, notebooks! I love a notebook. Can I make a suggestion?
So many.
If you want to check somebody up ever, don't turn around and go, would you like to see my rock collection? Do you want to have a look at my lovely collection of rocks?
And we just carry one around, just.
Have you got rock? you bought your rock collection?
Oh, just one.
That's a stone. That's not a rock. You are misdescribing your rock collection.
Well, I got it on the beach yesterday, so like. I got it on the beach yesterday, but it's a nice colour, isn't it? It's a nice
But this creates another challenge. What's the difference between a rock, stone and a pebble?
No idea. No.
Kardashian Alexa is broken.
Well, secondary question of the podcast, what's the difference between a rock, stone and a pebble?
But it's something from the beach, and I like it because it's pretty.
But then I expect a rock to be bigger.
That's a boulder.
No, a boulder is bigger than a rock.
Okay,
A rock is bigger than a stone. A stone is bigger than a pebble.
This is the shit boat debate all over again.
No, it's not. There's a clear line, right? While you two are talking about collections, I'm googling what's the difference between a rock and a pebble. So, Patrick, what else have you got in your collection?
As you can tell from my Dopper, I like bright colours. I've got lots of...
How many Doppers have you got? Have you got more than one Dopper? I'm going to start a Dopper collection. That'd be...
Find
Oh
more
yeah,
interesting
that's true. It's not very environmentally friendly, is it?
Well, I think it's fun for the office.
I've got teddies and I've got a range of mythologically named stuff. Like I've got a duck, and its whole name is a pun, and it's based off the Aztec god. The name is based off the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, but it's called Quetzalcoatl because it's a duck.
Yeah.
And I have a cactus named Toki because like she's the Aztec goddess of like healing and magic and stuff like that.
Okay, right. I've solved the rock pebble debate. Okay, stones and rocks and boulders and pebbles are all the same thing. Rock material. The main difference is size. Stone is generally used for large amounts. Rock is just the generic term. Boulders are so you could use rock because that is
Thank you
generic.
very much.
I stand corrected. I stand completely
Because
corrected.
people use rocks for crystals as well. It's all made out of the same stuff. Like carbon that's been pressurised.
But pebbles are smaller than 2.5 inches, so that, my friend, is definitely a pebble.
I'm not holding a pebble, I'm holding
That, my friend, is definitely some of that lovely peanut stuff that Patrick brought along.
Thank you, Patrick.
You know what we need to do? Have more guests present to the podcast.
They bring
Because every
food.
time we have a guest, they don't bring gifts. We have a podcast joint co-host, they always bring us a present. That is the secret to getting more presents, I think.
Mikey brought us food. What did he bring us?
He brought us some beer as well, didn't he?
He brought
Non-alcoholic beer.
alcoholic beer and berries.
And berries. Was it blueberries?
No, they were like hand-stainy berries that looked a bit like blackberries.
Yeah, which you were a bit cautious of, weren't you? Because of your berry challenge. Anyway, listeners, we'd like to hear from you, and we'd like to know what do you collect, and why do you collect it? So is it stamps? Is it trading cards? Is it
I used to
something?
collect stamps because they were the Doctor Who 50th anniversary ones.
But what can, if you've got 5, that doesn't really constitute a collection, does
I
it?
had 12.
Amazing, well done.
What about you? What do you collect, Chris?
Not much,
Pink
to be honest. Sorry?
Tyres. He never wears them. He just has them.
I haven't worn a tie I wore a tie the other day, but normally I'd never wear a tie now. I stopped wearing ties like 2 years ago.
But yeah, it's like 20 of them.
And I don't think anybody wears a tie in sort of... There's not an expectation there of you wearing a tie. So I don't...
Unless you go to school.
Yeah.
If I turn up without my tie, I get detention.
Yeah.
Or a black tie event, you get nominated for awards.
So I went to a black tie event the other day, but I didn't go full tux. And the reason being is because I've lost a bit of weight, and my tux looks like my dad's. Do you know what I mean? It just makes me look, it dwarfs me. But my obsession is books. I've just got too many books.
Yeah.
I mean, we've turned the garage into a library.
Does
haven't
that
we?
count? Does that really count as...
Can you have a book collection? You can have a book collection,
that's
can't you?
fine.
Yeah.
Oh, and just another collection to add to my list of collections. I'm collecting collections.
You can collect collections as well, can't you? On that particular note, should we get on with the show?
Oh, yes.
So, as we've got one of the kindest people on the planet, I'm trying to mix it up a bit and sort of not use the same line every single time. Patrick, I want to have a conversation about how people can give, but give in different ways. Okay, because I know that sort of giving money is only one way you can do it. But there are other ways, aren't there? And I know that you've had experience of giving expertise and time and other stuff, like sort of just giving of other stuff compared to just putting your hand in your pocket. Right. And it's interesting because there's a really good TED talk by somebody called Elizabeth Dunn, wrote one of my favourite books called Happy Money, where she talked about how she was making a financial charity donation, and it wasn't giving her a particular amount of happiness, but all of her research said that it should have been, and she wondered why that is. So she did another study into how you give to make you happier. And what she found was that the best way to give to make you happy was giving to causes where you see the specific impact of the money, time or expertise you invest. And what she did is she's Canadian and she brought a refugee family over from Syria, and collectively there was 25 of them, housed them in a flat. Wow. And she said she got so much goodwill knowing that she'd had a direct impact on some individual's life who she now knew. Yeah. And I suppose giving time and energy, you get that direct impact, don't you? You get to see the good you're doing. I mean, what are your thoughts?
That's a really good open question, and I think for each different cause you might have a different idea of how much involvement you want. It might be practical things. If it's abroad, it might be less practical to go to the other side of the world or go to Africa to...
Listen, you say that, I think I might have volunteered to go to Nepal earlier on today.
I'm not going with you.
Yes, you are. Will you climb a mountain with me, won't you?
No.
But yeah, but I agree. I think there's more practical stuff.
No, it's really interesting. I think really you can summarise it. How you can support a non-profit or a charity is kind of time, talents and treasure, which is the treasure is kind of the money really, but time and talents are really important as well. And I kind of see this from different angles as a person who gives a lot of time. Actually an element of all three in different ways, but also professionally now move over to the non-profit sector, and I can see the interaction with people who support us.
Yeah.
It can be with companies, for example, they can give their time, but they also, within the time, they can give time and skills. So, for example, it might be a small charity which doesn't have budgets for marketing or for creating a really great video, or it could be sort of legal and financial things. And I think there's a really interesting discussion then to have like corporate organisation about what do they want to get out of it, or what does the individual do. You might be leading from the top, might be what do they want to do. Is it about just getting involved in the community, so do they want to roll the sleeves up and
get involved,
do a community garden or paint a school?
Yeah.
And there's some benefits of that because you kind of get out of the office, you can see the impact of your work, and you sort of flatten hierarchy, so CEO and
everybody's in the same boat doing it.
Operations are all the same, and he's kind of flat, and that's really exciting. But then this is the school of thought. We think actually we're professionals, so maybe a legal person or a financial planner might say actually I can charge a few £100 an hour. So me going down to roll my sleeves, I'm not actually very good at it either. So you might go to a community garden and think,
has Patrick been talking to Cassie or not? I think he might have. But yeah, no. I think the other interesting thing is when it comes to that expertise element, I like the idea of mentoring. Do you know what I mean? Like adding value through helping people, and particularly, I mean, the example you gave about that, the work you do with the homeless, certainly, like sort of helping people by sharing your life experiences and stuff, I think is an interesting one.
Well, it's a great segue to a project I'm involved with indirectly. So I'm a trustee for the national volunteering charity called Volunteering Matters. And one of our flagship projects is called Grand Mentors, and this is about people aged over 50 with life experience and skills and wisdom, supporting teenagers leaving care when they're at a really vulnerable time.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful that the matching, and it's talked to what you just said. Mentoring, but it's a really special partnership they've got. In terms of
that sounds like an amazing thing. How does that work in practice? So the organisation does the matching, do they?
So Volunteering Matters organise soft matching actually, which is really interesting. So the last one they've done, for example, was through a circus training. So it's kind of not as intense as speed dating, or just face to face and you interview each other. Yeah. Let's just
you get involved in an event.
Let's not make it all about the matching, but let's just see how we interact. And it worked really well. So some of the stories are brilliant in terms of someone who's serial gets into trouble with the law quite a lot. We've been partnered with a serving policewoman like, wow, we're perfect match in there.
Yeah.
And there's some similarity with what I was discussing earlier about homelessness, about they've all got their own challenges.
Yeah.
Is it personal need? Is it about getting a job? Is it about getting on top of their, finding a way through to live with a disability or a mental health condition? And it's really powerful, mentoring. But then there's also lots of nuances in terms of you're finding really smart mentoring, whether it's women lead supporting the girls into have confidence into employment and getting them ready for the first interview. There's lots of different schemes out there, so I think mentoring is a great one to talk about as well.
But it's interesting because sometimes that doesn't get included in the conversation about kindness, and I think anything that can give back. Demi, who's a guy who works with me, does a lot of mentoring, and he's recently sponsored a swimmer to come over from. He's originally from Granada, so Granada's
the Spanish island.
Granada's that studio that makes Coronation Street. Grenada, who we sponsored him to come over to the UK just to make the most of his skills and talents, and you think that's an interesting way to give somebody an opportunity to do something they love, something they're exceptionally good at, where previously that wouldn't have happened, and that sort of getting up at 4:30 in the morning to help this guy train every day is something he hasn't got to do, but he gets a lot of satisfaction out of it.
Just giving a donation of money.
It's more meaningful, isn't it? It's just you are making a direct impact to one individual's life, and sometimes it feels like it's not enough if it's just one person, but the reality is if we all did that, we'd be in a situation where the world would be a far better place. Help me understand, when you act as a trustee for a charity, what that actually involves, because that's giving of your time to support a charity, isn't it?
Yeah, so again, there's probably some overlap with what I've just mentioned actually, in terms of you have expertise as well, so a trustee board wants to set the overall direction, but also we're responsible for lots of policies, financial stability, it's fundraising strategy, it's overall organisation. There's a lot there, and there's elements of where you might want some of the accountancy background for sure, for audits and some legal, maybe some with safeguarding, marketing. So it's all pulling together. So it's not just an individual; it's always a committee. It's got a shared responsibility, and it's about using those skills to drive it better or more strategically, and delegating the day-to-day to the management team, to the chief executive or chief operating officer.
And what do you personally enjoy doing most? Is it giving money, time, or expertise?
I like to give my time and skills most because I get to see it. And also
it's direct impact, isn't it?
And also I'm not sort of multi-millionaire philanthropist either who has oodles and oodles of cash. I think I can do a lot. And it's wonderful, especially with work directly in the communities that you work that you live in as well. I think especially in London and developments with lots of flats, I'm very guilty that I don't know my neighbours. And it's sad, really.
But that's one of the other interesting things, isn't it? There's an assumption that you've got to have loads and loads of money to give back. And the reality is, if you can give time and expertise, there's no financial restriction, is there? Because you just give.
Worth more. It can be sold at prices. So as you mentioned, some of the sponsoring someone abroad, or it is a very niche, maybe it's something like architecture or design or legal. These are things that somebody's trained for lots of years, and that's something you might not be able to access otherwise. But I think what's really important about the discussion about volunteering as well is you get a lot as well. I think there's a lot of talk about the language around volunteering. It feels like you volunteer, you give up something. It's actually you get a lot back as well.
You learn a lot.
You learn a lot. You get to meet interesting people. You get to go to different places. I've been to places that I wouldn't have done if I hadn't volunteered. So,
What do you think? What do you think about volunteering?
I think it's a good thing to do, and it's a great way to help people that you wouldn't have known, and it's a great way to connect with other people as well, because there are other people who are helping other people, and I think as I said, I think my mind just went blank. I was lost the words now.
It's interesting. I was having a conversation earlier on today about getting stuck in your bubble. You know, surrounding yourself often with people who think, talk.
This morning as well.
Yeah. And I think volunteering helps you get out of that bubble to a certain extent, because you can have an experience that then expands your perspective on life.
Well, let me give you a few examples. So one is you're volunteering with older people, so it's an intergenerational mix. I think that's really important. Do a weekly visit to an older lady in my neighbourhood. But just yesterday I was in a choir with older people as well, so it's a very relaxed way where multiple young people hang out with multiple old people. Different perspectives. You know, I've met a chap who used to be a drummer, and he kind of was on the same set list as Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, amazing.
And another really interesting one I did a few weeks ago was supporting Metro Blind Sports doing their track and field athletics. I've not really directly experienced what life is like for sort of blind and partially sighted people. Amazing sort of perspectives that I supervised and helped with.
But also super talented people as well in terms of Paralympic.
And really understanding like what's everyday life to us is actually well, they find ways to move forward, and it's really inspirational actually. And I think it's mixed with different age groups as well. I think we do youth where you might not see young people.
And you know what? I mean, you talk about that thing with older people. We interviewed a lady on the podcast. Actually, it was really early days. So it was a lady called Chris Laney, and we interviewed her because she does a lot of community projects in East London. And one of her projects has just opened. So if you're in the East London area, and Barking in particular, there's an old county house called I'm gonna miss the name of it. I'll make sure we put it on the show notes. But she's got a exhibition there at the moment, and this exhibition is full of interviews, audio interviews with the photos of 80 and 90-year-olds. So what she's done is invited her local community to say, we don't want to lose your stories, we want to interview you about your lives, and can you come along and we want to talk to you. And she's interviewed all of these people all across the East End of London about their experiences growing up. And it's really interesting because, and we've had this conversation before, haven't we, Charlotte? You could go back 2 generations and not recognise some of the components. Some of it is universal, but there's also component parts of growing up and memories that are going to be lost unless we start having conversations and telling stories in an intergenerational way. I don't know if I've ever told this story in the podcast, but my dad, I mean, we have a conversation about internet, don't we? Because I remember, Patrick, how old are you?
36.
36.
I remember life before the internet.
So Charlotte doesn't remember life before the internet, do you?
Life before mobile phones, life before smartphones.
Yeah, I had a pager. We've spoken about that before. But the weird thing is, I speak to my dad, who told me a story about, and again, this to me was one of those stories where you go, I don't recognise that as a life experience. So when he was growing up, and he was probably about 17, 18, he didn't have a bath in his house. So he used to use a public bath
I love this
that you used to go along to, and there used to be a row of baths, and you used to jump in one, and there was no taps on this bath. You had a guy in a room at the end, and you used to go, hot water in number 4, and he used to put hot water in number 4, and that was your bath. Now for me, that's a completely alien experience, right? But he used to go with when he was like 17, 18, he used to go with a bunch of mates. And what they always used to do is, like, he'll be in 4 and his mate will be in 5. And he'd wait until about 10 minutes in and go, cold water in number 5. And then his mate had to jump out of the bath really quickly before that happened. But that's one generation. Do you know what I mean? Think like 2, 3, 4. And that's why I think, like, this recording those memories was really important. It was such a joy to go around and see those old photos and just listen to those stories. But it was amazing. I think we should do more of that, actually. Yeah.
Somebody can say back in my day. I like that's a good state of life when you say back in my day.
I already say that.
Yeah.
You say it.
When was back in your day then?
I don't know, sometimes I just say it and I don't even mean it. But like, I don't... Like,
You said to Sophie, back in my day, it was all Teletubbies and Balamory.
Back in my day, it was all Teletubbies and Charlie and Lola.
Lola.
There weren't any of this CGI children's TV. What are you on about, Doc McStuffins?
What have you got against Dopper and Stuffing?
No, I love Dopper and Stuffins.
Yeah.
It's adorable. It's an adorable.
Back in my day, I mean, I've never said back in my day, but I'm going to say again.
Back in my day, My Little Pony was badly animated.
Back in my day, we had Fraggle Rock, which is clearly one of the best shows ever that come out, and Rainbow. What kids' TV did you grow up with?
Kind of more like the action stuff, so more like Thundercats.
Thundercats was amazing.
Visionaries is an underrated cartoon.
I don't think I've ever seen Vision. Oh, Dungeons and Dragons, I remember. Yeah.
Nightmare.
Oh.
It used to be on COTV.
So we went to a live showing of Nightmare, didn't we, last year? So they're trying to bring Nightmare back as a live theatre show, and there was a gaming exhibition in, where was it? Was it South London somewhere? I can't remember where it was.
Somewhere far off.
Somewhere far away, where they had a live Nightmare. And it was amazing. It was really good. And they had the original Treguard show up. Hugo, I can't remember his name.
Oh, but it was funny though.
But it was
just kept walking in and out of this door.
It was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, so we've had a conversation around how you can give your time, effort, energy and expertise. And on that note, should we get on with the end of the show?
Oh yes.
'Tis the end.
Oh, 'tis the end.
It is the end. Can I just say a massive thank you to Patrick, who's guest hosted the last couple of podcasts with us. You are a fine gentleman, an amazing fellow, a scholar, God amongst men. We love you on the Kindness Project. Thank you, Patrick. It's super appreciated. But it is the end of another podcast, and what's it time for?
'Tis the end.
Yeah, we've done that bit. It's last week's question of the podcast this week. And last week's question of the podcast was a really simple one. We wanted you to tell us some embarrassing stories. And the question of the podcast last week was, what's the most embarrassing thing you've done in front of a crowd? Now, I wasn't expecting this to be one of our more popular questions, because it meant people had to sort of share. But we did have a few answers. Steve Hennessy, at Steve the CFP on Twitter, is that a new social media platform? Twitter, on Twitter, said, as a boy, I would sing earnestly, we're the finest football team the world has ever seen. I'm a QPR fan. So clearly not the greatest football team.
QPR?
Queen's Park Rangers.
I don't know who they are.
Let me just give you a quick football test. Do you know who Manchester United are?
Yeah.
West Ham?
Yeah.
Chelsea?
Yeah.
Accrington Stanley?
Mm-mm.
Who are they? Exactly.
You're ruining it.
And we had few more answers. Stuart Winder said, DJing, having played a house music set for 2 hours, not missing a beat, and having a floor full of people, I brought the mic fader up, thanked the crowd, introduced the next DJ, then lifted the needle up on the wrong deck. Total silence. The crowd stopped dancing and looking in my direction. Or, when I was doing a house party in Walthamstow, one of those ground floor flats with a wall of glass with a door in it, again, I just finished my set, stood back to lean on the glass wall, but disappeared through the net curtains and ended up halfway down the garden. Or, the time I walked off stage the wrong way and fell down a cable riser. Take your pick. So Stuart's got a few answers. Mandy Medlock, simple. She, her most embarrassing story in public, she mooned the moon.
What?
She mooned the moon.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not even going into it on the podcast. But she had one too many vodkas. And then Coral Knight fell off the catwalk when she was 18 in front of 100 plus people. And that, my friends, is truly the end of the podcast.
Oh, we haven't got that many this time.
Not many this time. We'll see you next time.